Welcome to the Velvet Story, where whispers of the past and dreams of the soul are woven into tales of love, betrayal, and redemption. Tonight, we bring you the journey of a woman whose fate was shattered, yet given one more chance to rise again. This is the story of Lady Serene, a tale of betrayal, rebirth, and the courage to choose a different path when destiny offers a second chance. The second chance of Lady Serene. Scene 1. The betrayal. Low, somber tone. Imagine soft rain and thunder in the background. The prison walls were damp, their stones cold against Lady Serene's trembling hands. The air reeked of mildew and rusted chains, and every drop of rain that seeped through the cracks echoed like the ticking of her final hours. She could not feel her legs anymore. She had knelt too long on the hard ground. Her silk robes, once embroidered with plum blossoms, were now torn and stained with mud. Those blossoms, symbols of her purity and devotion, had been trampled underfoot, just as her heart had been. Outside, the city celebrated the victory of the Zhou family. But Serene was nothing more than a discarded shadow, condemned for treason she never committed. And the ones who condemned her were the very ones she had loved most. Zhu Liang, her husband. The man who once whispered beneath lantern light that he would cherish her until their hair turned white. He now stood in the courtyard with another woman by his side. That woman was Serene's own younger sister. Sweet-faced, soft-spoken, always hiding venom beneath silk smiles. Serene's lips quivered as the memory replayed, her sister clinging to Zhu Liang's sleeve, pretending to weep, declaring, "Elder sister has grown jealous of me. She seeks to harm the Zhou family, she betrayed us all." And Zhu Liang, without hesitation, without even meeting Serene's eyes, had believed her. Serene closed her eyes. Her chest heaved with bitterness so heavy it choked her. Was her love truly so worthless? Was her devotion nothing more than a feather in the wind? A guard's footsteps approached. The iron door groaned open. "Your time is finished," he spat. They dragged her to the execution ground. Rain poured harder, soaking through her thin robes. Villagers whispered in the crowd, some pitying, some jeering. But Serene's eyes, they searched only for one face. And there he was, Zhu Liang, standing tall beneath a red umbrella, shielding her sister from the storm. He didn't even flinch when Serene's gaze found him. No guilt, no regret, only coldness. Lightning split the sky. Thunder roared like drums of war. Serene's heart shattered. A sob tore from her throat, raw and broken. "Liang, I gave you everything." Her sister's lips curved ever so slightly, a victorious smile only Serene could see. The executioner raised his blade. And in that final moment, as her vision blurred with rain and tears, Serene whispered into the void, "If heaven has eyes, grant me one more chance. Just one more chance." The blade fell. Darkness swallowed her whole. Awakening. Tone shifts slowly from despair to wonder. Add faint birdsong, a breeze, softer pace. Serene gasped. Her eyes flew open. Warmth. She was not in the cold mud. She was lying on a soft bed, silk pillows beneath her head. The fragrance of plum blossoms drifted on the air, blossoms that had long since withered in her memory. Her fingers trembled as they clutched at the quilt. Her skin was smooth, unscarred. She staggered to her feet, breath shallow, and ran to the bronze mirror by the window. The face staring back at her was younger, softer, untouched by sorrow. Her cheeks were full, her eyes bright, no trace of the haggard prisoner who had just drawn her last breath. A voice called from outside, cheerful and familiar. "Miss Serene? The morning sun is lovely today. Shall I bring in your tea?" Serene froze. That voice, Xiaoyu, her maid, loyal, innocent Xiaoyu, who in her first life had died protecting her, stabbed while trying to smuggle food into the prison. Her knees gave way. Tears streamed down her face as she pressed trembling fingers to her lips. "Heaven," she whispered, voice breaking. "You heard me. 10 years." She had been pulled back 10 years, before betrayal, before ruin. Her heart ached with both grief and hope. She had been given the chance she begged for. This time, she swore, things would not be the same. The father's house. Lady Serene's father, Scholar Wen, sat at his desk, brush in hand, drafting a letter. His hair was only lightly touched with grey, not yet the weary man Serene had mourned in her first life. She paused in the doorway, clutching the frame. Her chest tightened painfully. In her past life, she had rarely visited him after marriage. She had thought, I will make him proud by being a dutiful wife. Yet, in her absence, he had withered from grief, blaming himself for her fate. And now, here he was, alive, breathing. Her lips trembled as she whispered, Father? He looked up, startled. Serene? Why are you up so early, child? She couldn't help it. She rushed forward, kneeling at his side. Her tears spilled freely as she clutched his sleeve. I had a terrible dream. That I left you, and could never come back. May I stay with you a while? The scholar blinked in surprise. His stern face softened, and he stroked her hair. Foolish child. Of course, my study is always open to you. Serene buried her face in his sleeve, her shoulders shaking. This time, she swore, she would not abandon him so blindly. She would not let her filial piety become an empty word. That morning, instead of idly playing the zither as she once would have, Serene sat beside her father, watching the ink flow from his brush. She asked him questions, about trade, about literature, about the subtle ways men in power turned their words into weapons. Her father, surprised, found himself smiling. You've never shown such interest before. Serene lowered her gaze. Because before, I was blind. Scene 4, a different choice. Tension begins to creep in. Days later, the Zhu family sent a letter. A marriage proposal, praising Serene's beauty and gentle temperament. In her first life, she had been flattered, even shyly hopeful. The Zhu household was prestigious. Zhu Liang's smile seemed warm. She had believed that if she gave her all, she would be cherished. But this time, her fingers tightened around the scroll until her knuckles whitened. Zhu Liang's smile, in her memory, twisted into betrayal. Her sister's false tears blurred her vision. Her death replayed like an echo. No, she would not step into that snare again. At dinner, her father asked gently, Serene, the Zhu family has expressed great interest. What do you think, my child? In her past life, she had bowed her head in obedience. Now, she lifted her chin, eyes steady. Father, she said softly, I wish to remain by your side longer. I am not eager to marry. I want to learn more, to be of use to our family. The table fell silent. Her younger sister's chopsticks paused mid-air, her eyes flickering with unease. Scholar Wen studied his eldest daughter carefully, then slowly smiled. Very well. If that is your wish, I will decline. Her sister forced a laugh, her voice sugary sweet. Elder sister, how unusual. You used to dream of poetry under the moonlight with a husband who adored you. How can you change so suddenly? Serene turned her gaze on her sister, her lips curving into a faint smile that didn't reach her eyes. Dreams change, little sister. Especially when you learn what they cost. For the first time, her sister faltered. Something in Serene's eyes was different. Not naive, not gullible, a quiet strength, like steel hidden beneath silk. That night, when the candles burned low, Serene sat by her window. Her heart still ached with the memory of betrayal. But beneath the ache, there was something new. Resolve. The path had shifted. And this time, she would not be led to slaughter. The maid's loyalty. That evening, Serene sat in her chamber, the candlelight painting her face in gold. She watched Xiao Yu, her maid, her companion since childhood, carefully arrange her hairpins on the table. How many nights had Xiao Yu done this in her first life, only to die alone in the shadows of a prison corridor? Serene's throat tightened. She could still see it, Xiao Yu's bloodied hands shoving a crust of bread into hers, whispering, Live, my lady, live just a little longer, before the guards struck her down. Xiao Yu, Serene said suddenly, her voice trembling. The maid looked up in surprise. Yes, my lady. Serene reached out and clasped her hand. From this day forward, you are not just my servant. You are my sister." The maid blinked, startled. My lady, I mean it," Sareen whispered, eyes glistening. "If I am given a second chance to walk this life, then you will walk it with me. No more sacrifices, no more tears shed for me alone." Siu Yu stared at her mistress, stunned into silence. And then, slowly, tears filled her eyes. She dropped to her knees, pressing Sareen's hands to her forehead. "Then I will follow you, Lady Sareen. In this life, until my last breath." The candle flickered, and in that simple vow, Sareen felt the first ember of strength ignite within her heart. Scene 6: The first test. A week later, Sareen accompanied her father to the town market. In her first life, she remembered this day clearly. A minor official had attempted to cheat her father during a trade of grain, claiming false shortages and demanding bribes. Her father, honest and gentle, had yielded, losing not just silver but dignity. It had seemed small then, but Sareen knew now that this minor corruption had snowballed, emboldening others to prey on the Wen household. It had been the first stone cast in an avalanche. Not this time. She stood beside her father as the official bowed with mock politeness. "Ah, Scholar Wen, so good to see you. Unfortunately, the granaries seem emptier than expected. But for a small gift, I may be able to provide what your family requires." Her father frowned but hesitated. He was a man of books, not schemes. Before he could speak, Sareen stepped forward, her voice clear and calm. "Esteemed sir, forgive me, but are you suggesting that His Majesty's records are false?" The man stiffened. "What?" Sareen tilted her head, her smile demure but her words sharp as a blade. "After all, the court decrees have been most generous in grain distribution. If the numbers do not match, then either you doubt the emperor's decree." She let the words linger, watching his face pale, "or you are implying that grain has vanished under your watch." The crowd nearby stirred. Whispers spread like wildfire. The official's face flushed red. He stammered, "Oh, of course not, Lady Sareen, I must have miscalculated. Please, accept the grain as originally promised." Sareen bowed slightly, her smile never faltering. "Then we are most grateful for your honesty." As the man hurried away, her father stared at her, astonished. "Sareen, where did you learn such sharpness?" Sareen lowered her eyes, hiding the storm of memories in them. "Father, I only learned that silence is a blade turned inward. This time, I will not be silent." Her father's hand trembled slightly as he reached for hers, pride and sorrow warring in his gaze. And her sister, who had accompanied them, stood frozen, clutching her sleeve so tightly her knuckles turned white. Her eyes darted to Sareen's calm face, a flicker of fear flashing within them. For the first time, she realized, her elder sister was no longer the lamb she could lead to slaughter. Scene 7: A meeting of fates. The Wen household was invited to a poetry gathering at the residence of a noble family. Scholars, merchants, and officials mingled beneath lanterns strung like stars across the courtyard. Music floated on the air, delicate as drifting petals. In her first life, Sareen had attended such gatherings with the timid heart of a girl. She had lingered in the shadows, speaking little, her eyes always searching for Zhu Liang. But now, she moved with quiet grace, her head held higher. She no longer sought validation. She simply observed, listened, and waited. It was then she noticed him. General Wei Jian. He was not yet the famed commander history would know. Still young, his armor polished, his posture proud yet unassuming. While others boasted of their calligraphy and verses, he stood at the edge of the crowd, listening more than he spoke. Sareen's gaze lingered. In her past life, their paths had crossed only briefly, a distant rumor, a name spoken in admiration after she had already fallen. She remembered hearing, from a cell she would never leave, General Wei Jian secured victory at the border. But by then, it had been too late for her. Now, fate had brought him before her while she still breathed free. Their eyes met across the courtyard. It was a brief glance, but enough. His brows lifted slightly, as though recognizing something unusual in her gaze, not the dreamy look of a girl, but the steady, watchful eyes of a woman who had lived and lost. Later, as the guests admired verses etched upon silk fans, Serene recited a line she had always held close. A single plum blossom blooms in the snow, defying winter's cruelty. Her voice was calm, yet it carried through the crowd. Silence followed, then murmurs of admiration. Wei Jian stepped forward, bowing slightly. Lady Serene's words hold both elegance and strength. Rarely do blossoms survive the frost, yet rarer still is the hand that dares to write of them without fear. Serene felt her heart stir, an unfamiliar warmth threading through her chest. She lowered her eyes, hiding the flicker of emotion. She reminded herself, trust is a dangerous thing. Love, even more so. But still, her hand trembled slightly as she held her fan. Scene 8. The irony of attention. Tone, tense, ironic. Background, faint chatter, footsteps echoing in a hall. In the days that followed, Serene noticed something strange. Zhu Liang, the man who, in her past life, had ignored her devotion, had dismissed her sincerity, now seemed curious. At another gathering, he sought her out, smiling with practiced charm. Lady Serene, you've grown more radiant with each passing year. I hear you outwitted a magistrate recently? Truly impressive. In her past life, those words, that smile, would have sent her heart fluttering. She would have blushed, lowered her eyes, and thought herself blessed to be noticed. Now, she felt nothing but a bitter amusement. She tilted her head, her smile polite yet distant. Ah, Lord Zhu flatters me. It was nothing more than speaking the truth. I trust your household fares well? His smile faltered at her indifference. For the first time, Zhu Liang found himself unsettled. The woman who once trailed behind him like a shadow now looked at him as though he were a stranger in the marketplace. Worse still, he noticed how others looked at her, with respect, admiration, curiosity. Even General Wei Jian, whose words were few, seemed to glance her way more often than chance allowed. A spark of greed flickered in Zhu Liang's chest. The more she slipped beyond his grasp, the more he wanted to claim her. And in the corner, Serene's sister clenched her fists, nails digging into her palms. This was not how things were supposed to unfold. In her first life, her sister had stolen Zhu Liang effortlessly, painting Serene as dull, naive, and unloved. But now, Zhu Liang's eyes no longer strayed to her. No, they followed Serene. And that, her sister thought with growing fury, could not be allowed. Scene 9. The Sisters' Poison. It was spring when the Wen household held a banquet for several visiting officials. Lanterns glowed in the courtyard, music played softly, and laughter rippled through the night air. Serene's sister, Lady Lian, flittered about like a butterfly, greeting guests with her soft, practiced smile. To all who looked upon her, she seemed the very image of innocence. But Serene knew better. She watched quietly as her sister's gaze flickered, first to her, then to a visiting magistrate known for his lecherous ways. The magistrate was a man of high rank, married but shameless. In Serene's first life, she had been trapped into an accidental encounter with him, a scandal her sister had carefully arranged. That single rumor had been enough to tarnish her reputation, giving the Zhu family the excuse they needed to cast her aside. Not this time. As the banquet wore on, Serene allowed herself to be led by her sister into the garden pavilion. The magistrate was already waiting there, his smile oily, his words dripping with false courtesy. "My lady," he purred, "what a rare blessing to meet you beneath the moonlight." Serene's heart clenched with memory, but her face remained serene. She stepped forward, bowing lightly. "Ah, magistrate, what fortune indeed. But such fortune should be shared, don't you think?" Before the man could reply, Serene raised her voice, clear as a bell. "Everyone, please, come quickly. The honorable magistrate wished to share the moonlight with us all." The guests in the courtyard turned. Servants hurried over. Within moments, half the banquet had gathered, eyes widening at the sight of the flushed official standing alone in the pavilion with Serene. Whispers broke out. Some chuckled. Some sneered. The magistrate's face drained of color. No, no, I merely. Serene's smile was soft, her tone innocent. Ah, forgive me. I misunderstood. I only thought such a distinguished man would not wish to be alone in the dark with an unmarried woman. It would be improper, after all. Laughter rippled through the crowd. The official stammered excuses, retreating in humiliation. And Serene's sister, her painted smile froze on her lips, her hands trembling within her sleeves. The trap had sprung, and it had caught no one but herself. Serene turned her gaze upon her sister, her voice sweet yet edged with steel. Little sister, one must always be careful. The world may pity tears, but even tears can drown the wicked. For a fleeting moment, Lady Lyanne's mask cracked. Her eyes flashed with hatred before she lowered her head, hiding behind a veil of false shame. But Serene saw it. She saw everything. Scene 10. Strength in restraint. After the banquet dispersed, Serene returned to her chambers. Xiu fussed over her anxiously, whispering, "My lady, were you not afraid? If it had gone wrong." Serene shook her head. Her expression softened, though her eyes still glimmered with steel. "In my first life, I let myself be silenced. I thought enduring was virtue. I thought love and patience would shield me." Her hands clenched slowly, the memory of her chains still burning in her veins. But silence only sharpened their knives. "Not this time. I will not fight with cruelty, Xiu, but I will not be their prey again." The maid bowed deeply, tears in her eyes. "Then I will be your shadow, my lady. Wherever you walk, I will follow." Serene looked out the window, where the lanterns still glowed in the night. Already, she could feel the ripples of her choices spreading through the household. Through the city, Zhu Liang looked at her with new eyes. Her sister began to gnash her teeth behind her smile. And somewhere, General Wei Jian's gaze lingered longer than most. The board had been set. This time, Serene thought, pressing her hand to her heart, she would play it differently. Scene 11. Whispers of hunger. The seasons turned. Spring blossoms gave way to the heavy heat of summer, and with it, troubling whispers reached the Wen household. Merchants spoke of dwindling harvests. Farmers muttered about locusts darkening the skies to the north. Prices of grain crept upward, slowly, then faster. Serene remembered this all too well. In her first life, the famine had struck like a blade. Starvation spread through the city. Neighbors sold their children for scraps of bread. The Zhu family hoarded grain, raising prices, growing rich on the suffering of others. And her own father, unprepared, had watched helplessly as families collapsed around them. This time, Serene would not wait for disaster to arrive. One evening, she entered her father's study, a ledger in her hands. "Father," she began, her voice calm, "I believe we should increase our grain stores." He looked up from his scrolls, puzzled. "Increase? At such prices? People say the harvest will recover next season." Serene bowed her head. "That is what they said last time as well. But signs of famine never lie. If we buy now, discreetly, we can feed not only ourselves but also protect those who depend on us." Her father studied her. There was something in her tone, a quiet certainty, almost prophetic. Slowly, he nodded. "Very well. If this is your conviction, I will trust it." And so, under Serene's guidance, the Wen household began to store grain. Sack by sack, hidden away. As weeks passed, the famine struck with merciless fury. The market descended into chaos. Families starved. Silver lost its value, only food remained wealth. But the Wen family endured. And more than that, Serene persuaded her father to open their stores not for profit, but to feed the poor at fair prices. Whispers spread through the city. Lady Serene, the scholar's daughter, was not only beautiful and wise, she was merciful. And among the soldiers guarding the granaries, one man stood watching her from afar. General Wei Jian. His gaze lingered on the way she oversaw the distribution, calm in the face of chaos, steady where others wavered. She was not a fragile blossom waiting for rescue. She was a tree, rooted, unyielding in the storm. And in his heart, a seed quietly took root. Scene 12. The General's Heart. It was during the famine relief that Wei Jian finally approached her. Serene stood beneath the lanterns, overseeing the long line of villagers receiving grain. Her sleeves were dusted with flour, her hair damp from hours of work. She was exhausted, but her posture remained graceful, her eyes clear. Lady Serene, a deep voice spoke. She turned, and found him standing there, tall and steady, his armor faintly gleaming under torchlight. General Wei, she greeted softly, bowing her head. He studied her for a moment, his expression unreadable. Then he said, I have fought battles, seen men starve on fields far from home. I thought myself hardened, but today, I saw something I have never seen before. Her brows lifted slightly. And what is that, General? He met her gaze, his voice low and firm. A woman who holds more courage than 1,000 soldiers. Serene's heart stumbled in her chest. She looked away quickly, pretending to adjust her sleeve. You flatter me, General. I only do what is right. No, he said simply. You do what others fear. The silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken words. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, Serene felt the stirrings of something dangerous, something she had sworn she would never allow again. Hope. She forced a smile, though her voice trembled slightly. Then, let us hope courage is enough. Wei Jian bowed his head, but his eyes lingered on her, as though he had already made a vow in his heart. And in the shadows beyond the granary, Zhu Liang watched. His hands clenched at his sides, jealousy burning like poison in his veins. For the first time, he realized he was losing something he had never even valued, until it was slipping beyond his reach. And Lady Lian, her lips pressed into a thin line, thought bitterly, if Serene rises, then I am nothing. Scene 13. The sister and Zhu Liang's scheme. Lady Lian and Zhu Liang met in secrecy one night, the moon casting silver light across the empty courtyard. This will not end well, Zhu Liang muttered, his hands twisting nervously. She grows stronger every day. The people, even the soldiers, admire her. Lady Lian's eyes glittered with fury. Then we leave nothing to chance. This time, she will not survive her own cleverness. They plotted a trap, a staged scandal designed to ruin Serene's reputation before the city. An arranged encounter with a visiting official. Carefully photographed, intended to suggest impropriety. In her first life, Serene would have walked right into it. She would have been shamed, humiliated, cast aside. But this time, the hunter would find only a shadow of their prey, already steps ahead.